point in time. Now, I will say that the automobile phase-out remains a confusing situation. We don't really have any guidance. We're working right now on the supposition that the exemption remains in place, but there is no ability to tax it. So there's no ability to tax the $6,000 in value. It may not matter much except moving pennies around on the tax rate, but the exemption program was a little complicated conceptually because it froze the tax rates at the 1998 levels. And that was a tax rate of $22.50 per thousand. And we're currently at $11.27 per thousand. So obviously there's quite a bit of difference in revenue from automobiles depending upon which tax rate we're required to use. I invite you to go to the General Assembly website, look up the bill that purports to be what they're debating, and you'll find a bill from Senate or State, our House Minority Leader Robert Watson, who's a Republican, wrong party, and the bill is merely a number of titles. So the bill is not posted, despite their little blurb saying, look at the bill. They are beginning deliberations on the budget tomorrow. So it remains something that we have to follow very closely because we simply don't know what they're doing. And there are many ramifications to what they're doing. So that's just a little where we are summary. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Well, before we get into the numbers, I don't think you should go any further without first acknowledging what a wonderful job you folks are doing. I mean, I've never seen that sort of a scorecard before on school performance across the entire spectrum of what the kids are out there doing, and the teachers and the parents and all that. And I'd just like to say thanks. I mean, they're doing good with their tests. They're doing good out on the sports fields. You know, they're doing good in the arts. I mean, I don't know what more we could expect of the school system in terms of performance and outcome. And I'll say that it sure looks to me like the product you're putting out is well worth the money that the taxpayers are putting into the system. So thanks for that.
I asked Jim to do that. I will also say that the sports program, you've turned out some good athletes, but I have to speak to the budget and the dollars, and it's maybe nice to have all these great things going down, but we have to look at what we have to run with and where we're headed tonight with the budget. Any other comments from the council?
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thought we'd start tonight about as we build on the 2011 budget with where we are in 2010. And we anticipate finishing the current year, the 2010 year, with a balanced budget. Like other aspects of state government, as Mr. Driscoll mentioned, there's a lot of information that's not very clear. But what we know right now is that our revenue variances, we're projecting a 3% cut in state aid for 2010. That hasn't been officially verified yet. We think it's a best case scenario. It's what's been discussed since January. We've had that shortfall in our budget the entire time since then, and we've been trying to manage to meet that. So we have inquired from the Department of Education if they know about the 2010 budget, because we know what's happening in 2011 and we don't know what we're really building off. So they really don't. They know as much as we know at this point. So we're going with the 177 shortfall. We think it's a best case scenario, but also very realistic. So with that in mind, with that revenue shortfall, we have a significant shortfall on our tuition line from the Little Compton tuitions. This is, as I can tell by reading some of the history here, it's been well, it's been a shortfall every year for the last several years. And this year we're down several students, about 10 and a half students. because the tuition is about $8,000 a year, so we're trying to make that up. We did get some additional group home aid from the state of Rhode Island. When they initially figured the aid, I guess probably this time last year, they missed a few beds, so they added $60,000 mid-year, which was a help to us. And we will be tipping into our Medicaid reimbursement fund for an additional $25,000. So that's how the revenue shakes out. And what we're doing is we have several positive variances in our expenditure lines. There's one more bullet there, I think so. Yeah. And so we're managing our budget to hit those numbers. So we have no real one or two big lines that came in under budget. We have several lines that can hit that $200,000 or so over anticipated shortfall in revenue. And what we did, knowing we had shortfall in revenue, is we managed those lines to hit those numbers. So it's almost like a one-time savings. It's not as though the money was extra in the budget. We realized where we were. We shut off the requisitions of the schools in April. We shut down our own spending around April, just to make sure we could close the year with a revenue, with a balanced budget. So hopefully if the revenues stay as we project, we'll be able to do that, but we think we'll be able to do that at this point. The process that we used for this 2011 budget, as Mr. Buttermeyer mentioned, there were 6 meetings with the school committee. There were several parts of the budget we spent extra time looking at, although we examined all aspects of the budget. We budgeted our budget. We assumed a 5% reduction in state aid to education. We were cognizant of the declining tax cap, the limit to 4.5%. And through this whole process, we were very aware of the tight finances in the town of Portsmouth and the state of Rhode Island. We realized that our other local receipts, as mentioned before, little competent tuitions, are declining. We were examining the Medicaid revenue to see how much we could use that to offset some other shortfalls we had. As you know, Medicaid has, the rates have been increased as part of the Recovery Act. So we do have extra money in the budget you'll see from the Medicaid revenue, and it's money that we've already received, so we're not counting on a new bill or the refunding of the bill to get the Medicaid for next year. And if it happens, it'll just be great for the following year. We're at the end of the stimulus fund line, so we're trying to see how much of that we had left, how much we could use, and try and use it in a way that wouldn't be for salaries, something that was definitely reoccurring. Try and use it to fill some gaps in non-reoccurring ways. And then finally, we did assume that the town would fund the schools to the cap as it had, I guess, the last couple of years. As I mentioned, we examined all aspects of the budget, particularly due diligence and salaries and benefits. I mean, that's 80% of the budget. That's where, if you're going to make any kind of significant change in the budget, you have to find a way to do it there. We examined the enrollment. We examined program changes. We looked at changing the configuration of some of the schools. And by doing that, we feel we had a good handle on what the salaries and the staffing would be. And we examined the benefits quite a bit. And we're looking forward, perhaps, as we go forward, to try and make some savings in the benefits. We didn't have any at this point in the budget so far. We evaluated the fiscal plan and the enrollment, as I said, for school configuration. Looked at all of our service contracts. You'll see there's some savings in transportation. There's some savings in rubbish removal. The IT services for the business, that's the business software. That's for the payroll, the human resources, all the accounting that we do. There was a 4% increase that the vendor actually cut in half. We hoped he would eliminate it, but he cut it in half for us. Groundskeeping is another contract that we were able to freeze. So we looked at all our contracts to try and find savings or negotiate down some agreed upon increases. All the schools, all the departments were asked to keep their budgets level, and of course they all did. So you'll see the increases, if you've gone through the budget book, are really all in the benefit lines and some special ed lines. But the education materials, athletic materials, all the day-to-day stuff is kept at the 2010 levels, which is really a decrease as you look at as prices increase throughout all the things that we use. Items such as unified arts, music and art, extracurricular and recreation, etc. Those items, as I understand it, were very thoroughly reviewed last year, and some changes were made there and some reviews were made there. So we kept that in place as we went forward for the 2011 budget.